Well, it's barely still Saturday here at Shelburne Park. We're after waiting around for the trap draw. Some interesting draws for next week, but we're going to talk about tonight's action, Kevin. And right from the get-go, it was interesting. That first heat was something special. Huldum Spy was the great UK hope. Got to the front, perhaps a lack of a run, perhaps other things, but had his chance. But Vulturi came storming through, and what a display, and JT Osprey just behind him as well. But a three-way photo.
Yeah, three-way photo to get things started. What more could you want? A thrilling finish. I wouldn't take anything away from Huldum Spy. That seems to be a style of running. He likes to get to the front, and when he gets to the front, he might not necessarily do a whole lot when he gets to the front. He's got the ability. I wouldn't be put off at all by his performance tonight. I wouldn't think that I think he'd come on for the run as well, and for me he's one of the fastest dogs in the competition. I've thought that from day one, so I wouldn't be put off by Huldum Spy. JT Osprey ran well in behind. Vulturi, you'd have to say, ran very, very well for March 12 puppy, and could be one to keep an eye on as well throughout the rest of the competition.
Of course, it is worth suggesting that Huldum Spy is coming back after a layoff, an injury layoff and all that, and would have badly needed a run, I'm sure.
Yeah, exactly.
On so to the second of tonight's heats, and of course Droopy Ward. He was in the wars earlier on, but my God, this dog is suited at Shelburne Park. He really let loose from that second turn.
Yeah, as expected, he's going to love it here. He's got one again in the next round, and he really does enjoy one. He doesn't have good early pace. He might not be the quickest at the second bend, but from halfway down the back towards home, he really motors. And a couple of people were questioning, was he getting there at the third bend? But it seems to be from the third bend home is when he really goes into overdrive. I was talking to PJ Fay in the stands after the race, and we both had the same opinion. He's going to be a hard dog to knock out of this competition. He's just going to be there, plugging away, doing his run. Nearly every week you can see him putting up 29.70, 29.80, nearly every week. And if you can do that, coming from behind this competition, it's going to be hard to keep him out of frame. I think he'll go pretty far in the competition. Abby Carter ran really, really well for Liam O'Rourke. She's a really gutsy bitch. She's been around a while now, but she's still mixing it with the best.
Yeah, the bookmakers really crying for her down the back straight. It would have been a great result. She was 25-1 on track. I'm sure she was similar prices off track during the day.
Oh, exactly, yeah. Droopy Ward and Metro Jack were the two that we were seeing support for, but Abby Carter, I was rubbing my eyes going down the back straight to see her in front.
Last word on Droopy Ward, of course. He's probably going to be better when he's in better company as well. He's going to get a clear run.
Yeah, exactly. You'd imagine that a couple of the runners... Well, there is one problem I feel in this derby. I think there's a lack of an out-and-out early pace runners in here. I think there's only maybe 2-3 that you would say are out-and-out early speed merchants. You have Huldum Spy, Skywalker, Faro. I know when Droopy's Nidge gets it right, he's got good early pace, but Droopy's Ward, if he can keep getting an inside draw, I think that'll be more important for him, and from halfway, as I said, he's very, very quick.
The aforementioned Droopy's Nidge was next up. Workmanlike, but he was up £2 tonight. He won at £74. Like, he's raced at 70 in the past and won at 70 in 28 seconds and the likes, and he'll definitely blow away the cobwebs with that run, I'm sure.
He will. The problem I would have is from the second to third bend, he didn't really explode the way he can. Whether or not that would have got to do with the weight, I would understand it coming home. He'll definitely improve, don't get me wrong. He'll improve leaps and bounds. He'll need more racing. This pup has only had 7 races tonight. That's all he's had in his career, and we're expecting him to go out and do his 29.40s. That's not going to happen. Being realistic, that's not going to happen every week. But still, at the same time, I was a little bit disappointed at how long it took him to get passed down the back. That would be my concern. If that can be rectified, and if all things fall into place, for me, he's probably the fastest from start to finish in the derby, but he will need to blow out those cobbles pretty quickly, and he will need to get back doing those runs that he was doing earlier in his career.
Good run in behind him, of course, by Nan's Top Boy, who did run a blinder at a huge price. Moving on to Heat 4, where General Wolf, and this fellow is he's a bit of a popular greyhound around here. I think a lot of men have backed him from last year. He had a spell in England, but he's back. He ran hard down that back straight.
He did run very, very well, and he was in the Ledger final as well last year. He's a good dog, General Wolf, and he's always in there battling away, and he's going to be hard to beat as well. He starts, he stays, he's got middle pace. He's not the flashiest. You're not probably going to see him do a 29.30 run. That's probably 29.40 run. You're not going to probably see him do that, but another one of those runners that it's going to be hard to see him out of frame, and he's one that if you're drawn in against him, you're not really too confident. You'd rather be in a different heat than in against him. You'd have to say he ran very, very well, and there was plenty of trouble in that race. It was a bit of a messy race. Parry Silva encountered an awful lot of trouble, but General Wolf, take nothing away from the winner, he's still in there with a great shout. Honour
and Glory in second, ran his best race in Shelburne Park, probably yet to produce his best Clonmel form, but it was a fine effort by him tonight, and in fairness he did have to check at the third bend. He ran well. He could be one, maybe the big price, could run well in the next round.
Yeah, exactly, and there was a few of those on Thursday night as well. When you go back through the form and you watch the videos back over again, just a couple that you didn't actually spot, and Honour and Glory was one. It was a messy race from the get-go, and at a big old price like that line of form where he beat Droopy's there 4 lengths in Clonmel, like that's very, very good form. Droopy's there is no no slouch, and I think Honour and Glory, if he can keep plugging away, you never know, he might go far in competition too.
Heat 16 was won by Jerry White's Faro Quest. Goes to show that early speed is all important in this sort of race, where they actually finish in quite a heap, but Faro Quest dug deep. Luckily for the bookmakers, I believe there was a bit of a plunge in Droopy's Day Lewis, who ran a big race in defeat. Couldn't match them early, but he absolutely motored home.
Yeah, another one of those messy races, and as I said, I just think this Derby lacks a couple of more early pace runners, and the few that are in it are going to reap the rewards. Faro Quest out and gone, it was race over, but you'd have to say it was messy at the opening bend as well. Ecclestone was going to turn very, very close in second. He ran well, but he was going to turn a close second around the opening bend. He got dragged down from behind. Droopy's Day Lewis, as you said, stormed home, ran really, really well to get up for second, and he was backed at big prices all throughout the day, and he should have been much, much closer, apart from missing the break.
On so to Heat 17, where it turned into a tussle between Razzle Dazzle Al, who again showed all his early dash, and Shopping Basket just proving that little bit too strong. If he hadn't been in trap 1, he probably wouldn't have won, but he did slip around second, and he picked up Razzle Dazzle Al. But it was a good time, and it was a good result.
Yeah, it was. And you look at Shopping Basket's form, and he beat General Wolf 3.5 lengths in his second last night of form, and as we see with General Wolf, he's not easy to beat. So that form was in the up there for Shopping Basket. Razzle Dazzle Al really showed that early pace from, I didn't think, the most ideal draw, but we saw there tonight the seeding has been changed in Razzle Dazzle Al, so maybe the draw wasn't in fact that bad, being an inside seed drawn in 6. But yet again, he's one of very few, for me, early pace runners in the competition, and I think he's going to get around that opening bend in front more times than not, and I think he could go a few more rounds still.
On to Heat 18. Am I right in saying that? It's kind of hard to keep up at this stage, where it was a battle between the two ladies at the finish. European Queen didn't get off to one of her better starts, but found herself in front off the second bend. Importantly, the Price's Bitch, having snuck through in the fence, just got a little bit squeezed the second bend when it counted, and then you had two strong ladies really motoring from halfway.
Yeah, exactly. To be honest, I don't think Lassie, with her inexperience, I don't think she was going to probably beat the European Queen Bitch, even if she'd have got through at the second bench. She ran on very, very well. I just think European Queen, with that experience, it was Lassie's first time under lights, because all of her other races had come nearly in daylight, so she completely missed the break. But this is a prime example. There's no early pace in this race, and that seems to be the issue. And when a bitch like European Queen hits the front of the second bend, you're not going to catch her. It's simple as that. 29.88. It was a good run. In the end, JT de Seville found himself in an awful lot of trouble, got through for the flag as well, and it was a decent race. European Queen, if she turns that close in future races, you're just not going to beat her. But I was quite impressed with Price's last. I thought she ran very, very well for a front race.
One or two of the Shrewdies were on Penny's Deanridge in the 8th race tonight, Heat 19. Here, Tyre Sugar Ray was favourite, but encountered that traffic problems in the early stages, which really cost him. But it was Penny's Deanridge who emerged a comfortable winner in the finish here, seeing off Phil Flutter, who ran on strongly for second.
Yeah, it was really messy on the inside of this race, and it just left the race to the outside. Sugar Ray moved in, JT Valencia slightly moved off, and it was 1 and 3 barging match the whole round. So you can't really judge Tyre Sugar Ray. He out battled the one down to get through. Experience played his part there as well. And then you just have to look to the 3 outside runners, and Penny's Deanridge was the best of the 3. The 4 and the 5 are more stairs, so that left Penny's Deanridge away on the outside. And you'd have to say Rosemary Price Runner ran a very, very good race and went on to win. Good time in 29.64. I thought it was going to be one of the better runs of the night, but there was better to come later on. Couldn't rule out Sugar Ray yet. You just draw a line through that form. Don't even count the time because of all the trouble that was going on.
Yeah, he was in the wars early, but a good hard running dog, the winner, Penny's Deanridge, and again could go a few rounds if the draw is in his favour. Yeah,
exactly. If he can just start a little bit quicker, if he can get more consistent at the boxes, I think he could go well.
Moving on to Heat in 20, and here, Mind the Net, easily justified odds-on favourites, and one or two of the shorter punters down in the ring were trying to pick out something that might lead him in the early yards, but this one was over from about an inch in.
Yeah, exactly. As soon as Mind the Net came out of the boxes as quickly as he did, the race was essentially over. I thought Tyre Frederick done ever so well to run well in second, but if Mind the Net can break like that consistently, we all know what he can do. We saw that in Wimbledon. However, for me, his Achilles heel might just be that consistency at the starting traps. If he can continually time it right, he's the one that's probably going to be thereabouts. He'll definitely be in the final if he can continue to break like that. Whether or not he will continue to break it is the question. That's why people can be inclined to take him on, and that's why he probably wasn't at the top of the betting coming into the Derby. His Wimbledon form was outstanding, and the form he has in the book is as good as any runner at the moment. So you'd have to say he was a bit of value coming into tonight. He won't be much value after tonight's performance, because considering that the top 2 in the betting didn't really sparkle in their opening rounds, you'd imagine Mind the Net would be up there at the top of the betting now. But I just think if he does have an Achilles heel, it just might be his consistency at the boxes.
Of course, Mind the Net is now 2 for 2 in Shelbourne Park, and he really looks a Shelbourne Park dog. 29.49, a fine run. We move on to Heat 21, and here Borneo All the whispers were if this had been the first heat he'd been 4-6, but rumours that he's a bad kennler and stuff, and he went off at 2-1, 9-4, whatever it was. It looked big, and once he hit the front, that was it.
Yeah, standing in the stand, I was talking to one of my friends, and I was just saying, like, this 9-4 could be massive. Like, we could really miss the boat here. He 29.88 is well within his reach. I do think he obviously got worked up in the kennels, because I do think he's a 29.70 dog if it was the first or second race. Peter Cronin has made no secret about that fact. He has publicly stated that if Borneo was in an earlier race, he's much better suited. He's not a good kenneler, and the fact he was kept to race 10 probably slowed him down a little bit. He ran really well to keep in touch, and you'd have to say that Dean Childs' British runner side as Pedro lost little or nothing in defeat, because Borneo was matching strides with him down the back, and we know what Borneo can do. So I think side as Pedro surprised one or two tonight. I thought he ran very well.
He's very strong indeed, that side as Pedro, but Borneo, as we said, he can't even start better. That's one thing to keep in mind as well. And if you did get an early heat next round or the following round after that, just keep him on your side. Heat 22, the penultimate heat of the round, and here we saw Frankie staking his claims, and very impressive. Green Prince came out with racing from trap 2, but Frankie just swept round him on the opening corner, and in fairness to the dog, I was led to believe he wasn't a strong stayer, but tonight he got to the line.
Yeah, and you'd have to say it must have been a huge vote of confidence from him. He kind of just around two dogs in the Derby. He clearly thinks a good bit of fiery splendour, we all know. And Frankie, he's probably the one that's slipping in under the radar. His Tralee form is very, very good. Hooverville was a dog of mine that, well, not a dog of mine, but a dog I personally thought would go really, really well in this Derby if he'd taken part. He doesn't, but like Frankie's beaten Hooverville, so that kind of form is very, very good in my book. He'll have to prove he can do it consistently. He's only had the 10 starts now tonight. If he can consistently do it and do it early, as I said, I think there's a big opportunity here for early pace runners to go very, very well here. If he can do it at the boxes regularly, I think he's one to keep a close eye on.
The ever-professional Green Prince chasing him home. And then a little word for Shirley Bassey. She never runs a bad race, and she ran a hell of a race in third again.
Yeah, exactly, and you always love to see the little bitches doing that. Carol Gareth last year gave everyone such a great thrill, and who knows, Shirley Bassey could be following in her footsteps this year.
Might have a Euro on a 500 to 1 or something like that. And Heat 23, we saved the best to last in terms of the clock and to the eye. Loghill Blake, Kalara Haymack came away racing, but this Loghill Blake dog showed devastating early speed. His form in Clonmel suggests he's not a stout stayer, but of course he's relatively young. He's a March, but he's very likely racing terms. That was only his 12th start tonight, and he really opened up down the back straight and was not stopping coming to the line.
Yeah, exactly. And Loghill Blake, I was down in Clonmel for most rounds of the Produce Stakes, and talking to John Boyle after a couple of rounds, he was the one that I thought was the one that was the main danger to Boylesports Hero in it. I thought he ran every bit as good as Boylesports Hero in the competition. I know he was backed by a couple of lads in the office at huge prices with other firms, and I think they're on at shrewd prices. He won't be anywhere near that. I'd imagine he'll be in the top few in the betting after tonight's performance. He's got the early, he's got the all-round ability, and in Mick O'Donovan he's got a shrewd trainer on his side. Kalara Haymack, the bit that impressed me the most was Kalara Haymack did cramp up close home. We all saw that in the video. He didn't get home at the last bend, but he'd come on with racing. But from the second bend to the third bend, Loghill Blake was pulling away, which I was quite surprised of, because Kalara Haymack has got good all-round pace. And for me, I turned to one of the lads in the stand and said, this is a run, because you could visually see he was pulling clear at Kalara Haymack, which I was so surprised to see. He's one I think could be the one. If the top few in the betting aren't sparkling, I know he's done the fastest time of the round, it's easy to say that now, but his two trials have been sensational as well. I quite fancied him in the race, to be fair, but I just think I think he could be not necessarily a dark horse now because he's went the fastest, but I think he's the one that if I was forced to pick now, I'd like to be on his side.
You've effectively answered my next question, which was going to be which dog of all the dogs around the opening round was going to be cut the most, and I dare say Loghill Blake's price now lies in tatters on the floor, and he's going to be a considerably shorter price than many were hoping.
Yeah, I wish I was on myself. I quite fancied him, talked him up in just that heat, not in the outright market. I wish I did get involved now in the outright market. If it was up to me, he'd be in the top few in the betting. My charity bet went out when Boylesports Hero unfortunately got injured, so I'm going to have to, as the Boylesports cashback offer, I can go in again, so I'm going to go in on Loghill Blake. He would be my pick. I just think the opportunity for early pace runners is there. I think he's a young dog coming forward in shrewd hands. I think he'll be the one to beat for me.
Last but certainly not least, we've had enough action in the opening round to whet the appetite. It's going to be a great second round.
Yeah, it is going to be a great second round. There's plenty of good heats there, like we've seen Hold'em spying against Skywalker Farlow. If they turn level at the second bend, who would you put your money on? Like there's lots of very, very good races in there. There's plenty of races that you can see bigger price runners progressing as well. There's a couple of the easier heats, but that gives the interest to the local, the lesser trainers, so to speak, and I think it'll be a great couple of rounds, and I'm really looking forward to Thursday and Saturday.
We can't wait. Well, you heard it. Thursday and Saturday. Join us on igb.ie, or indeed watch it on the Barking Buzz app. Better again, why not get to Shelbourne Park for the second round of the Boylesports.com derby, starting on Thursday night next and concluding on Saturday night. We'll see you then.